Welcome into another episode of Dealing with the Devils. Win number 9, game number 9 for the Blue Devils in their first true road game of the season at Indiana. A close game in the beginning, but JD, they stretched it out late.
They absolutely did, and it almost seems to be falling into a pattern, which is no matter what happens for the first 30 minutes, if they force the ball down low to the two towers, they're going to score. And I think, you made a really good observation about that is working. It's working until that one game when we go up against a team that is just like shooting 50% or 60% from three-point range, and we're exchanging 2 for 3s.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever going to shoot 60% in a game from three-point land, but as a team that is. But, 50% could happen. And the only reason I say that is just because with the way that Gary Trent has been shooting this season from outside, he's been very streaky. And just in games, it just seems like if it's not going down early, it's not going to go down late from outside. But having said that, that Apple Valley clutchness, and especially from the free throw line, as Tyus Jones had, Gary Trent has had that, and he's been knocking down his free throws, which has been huge for this Duke team. But
I have been concerned about that, but down the stretch, the final 9 minutes, they were 11 of 15 from the free throw line. So, it was not the concern that I thought it would be. Maybe on another night it would be.
Yeah, and their big guys have also started to hit their free throws with better percentages as we've moved into the season. I think they've just gotten more reps, more in-game reps at the line.
No question about it. So let's take a look at the starting lineup.
Yep, so tonight this was a three-man show in my estimation. Wendell Carter actually got going early in this game, and usually, I've mentioned he gets his points late, but until he fouled out, he was tremendous in this game, finishing with 18 and 12, and then your two 20-point scorers, Marvin Bagley with 23 and 10, another double-double for both he and Carter, and Grayson Allen with an extremely efficient 21 points on the night, where, they're playing their first true road game, as we said, and for the freshmen, although they look just fine, it just seems like the thing you're supposed to say, I guess, but they didn't seem rattled at all in this environment.
Well, I may have to differ with you as far as the point guard Trey Duval. There was a couple of turnovers, a couple of errant passes. He did finish with 15 points and 6 assists, but there were moments there that did contribute to keeping this game close.
No, JD, I'm with you. ESPN is just not with us, though, because if you look at the box score, Trayvon Duval had 0 turnovers, and I'm with you. I swear I saw a couple of errant passes or at least poor decisions. He had a couple of poor shot choices as well in this game, even though he did shoot the ball relatively well. 5 of 11, 1 of 3 from 3-point raises his percentage, and 4 of 7 from the line is not the worst from Duval. It's about average shooting for him, but again, there was some questionable decision making from Duval, and it's not the stellar play that we saw in those first 3 to 4 games of the season.
There's no question about the fact that as Mo Bags goes, so goes Duke. And I think Mo Bags is just like...
You can't call him Mo Bags. That's terrible. That's
absolutely his name, Mo Bags. It's 23 and 10. He is just unrattled. As said it before, I'll say it again. He's ready for the NBA now.
Okay, that's fine, but you need a different nickname for him because we can't do this anymore if you're going to call him Mo Bags. That's terrible.
That's Mo Bags, and I think OC should have been able to get in earlier too, and maybe shaking it up a little bit. They changed the tempo of the game when they went to the 2-3. That was a good move, but it still seemed to be that they might as well start the game down 5. Just say jump ball, Duke down 5, and then maybe they'll play.
Yeah, I mean, still, even then, I don't know if that would really matter to them. They know at the end of the game, as you like to say, they'll just get it down low to Bagley and Carter, and good things will happen. But as you said, when they switched to 2-3, that definitely helped. When they were playing the man-to-man earlier in the game, Indiana was seemingly getting to the basket at will, even with the size of Duke. That was definitely concerning. But as you said about O'Connell, he definitely had a bit of... He looked like he was going to have a great game. He came right in. He has no conscience. He's playing on a team where he comes into the game. There's 2 lottery picks at least next to him, and Grayson Allen, a potential All-American this season, and he shoots it right away, and he makes it. And it's a great thing to watch, and it's fascinating, but, it was surprising that he didn't continue and to have a good game. It looked like he was poised to have one.
I really enjoyed, though, how Grayson was the stabilizing factor here. It's like Grayson and the Beatles, the Fab Four, instead of Michigan's Fab Five. You've got this senior that knows when to pick his moments, and that's why I like when they go to the 2-3 zone, because as freshmen, they're getting picked apart a little bit when they don't know how to make the switches, and that could be a freshman mistake. And I love them in the 2-3 because it's much easier for them to cover part of the zone than it is to know when to switch off. That comes with experience.
Yeah, and it also keeps the big men home, so it doesn't allow them to be caught outside on the perimeter. It keeps them by the basket, and it helps with the rim protection as a whole. But as you said, Grayson Allen is, he's the Quinn Cook of this year's team at this point in his career. But before we move into the bench, I think at this point, and then talk about the next game, Indiana, a couple of guys I think to me really stood out for them in this game. Juwan Morgan I thought was pretty good on the defensive end of the court, and he scored early, but he's not much of a scoring presence. And then you look at, obviously, Deron Davis, when he was able to play in the second half, was just carving us up on the inside. And thankfully, he couldn't make his free throws, because that would have caused us a real problem if he was able to actually connect. And then their other guard, Robert Johnson, did pretty well, I think, on Grayson, limiting the amount of opportunities he got, and also scored a bit himself.
The Indiana team did a really nice job in front of the home fans to keep it close with the number one team right down to the final, 5 or 6 minutes, and then just couldn't handle it and they pulled away. But a lot of credit to Indiana playing at home. This is really Duke's first away game on a home court, and I thought Grayson was going to hear it a lot worse than he did. So,
well, we'll wait till we get to ACC play on that one. But
that's true.
But I will say, I thought they passed really well, and they played really well considering they were undersized for most of the game, especially without Davis, and the fact that they kept it as close as they did. Like, hats off to Indiana in this one. But as we always do, going to the bench now. Not much from the bench tonight. Only 5 points from the Blue Devil bench. 2 early ones from O'Connell, as I said earlier. But, really not much as a whole from Bolden or Delorier or O'Connell, really, outside of those 2 points. Delorier had a bucket as well, and Bolden hit a free throw. Bolden was active definitely on the defensive end. Gave him 4 fouls. I'll give him that. And had a few good moments. Definitely he had, I believe, 2 steals and a block on the night. So he was active, definitely, but not much from the bench tonight. Really a starter-heavy performance. Next up, the Blue Devils play South Dakota. And, that should be an interesting matchup. They have some size, actually, and have gone off to a good start. So, I expect the Blue Devils to continue the trend of playing to the level of their competition, letting the game stay close, and then taking over in the second half. But that's it. That was Dealing with the Devils. I'm Jack, and we're out.